Let's try making one of these this morning. It's a candle cage, and if you hang it with a thin wire, it might look pretty good. To make our candle cage, you'll need a pattern, of course, and you can get this by downloading it on my free pattern page. And you'll need also a piece of wood. It's a good chance for you to use some of your scrap wood up. And it's about 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches, a nice square to start with. Very simple cut here. You cut out the square and put some tape on here and glue it down. And then you got to cut out these individual frames. Now the frames are sort of interlapped here. Basically what you do is put a a little entry hole up in the corner of each one of these, and I would start with the middle, of course, and cut that out first, and then progressively cut each one after that. We're going to do that on the scroll saw. So let's first of all cut out the pattern and then put down our tape, and we'll see how this goes. Alright, we have drilled our holes in the corners of each of these frames. I'm going to start by cutting out the center frame, center square actually. This is going to be used as the base for the candle. And I've got a mark in the center. If you use your Forstner bit, 1 3/4 inch I believe it is, you can make an indentation with that for the candle. And the candles I would use probably are the battery operated ones. Do not use real candles in this. This is made of wood, and of course you know what can happen when you mix wood and fire. So don't use real candles in here. Make sure you use the electric candles, those little type that you can buy at the dollar store, for a package of them for $1, with the little disc batteries in them. Okay? Alright, so first of all, we'll cut out this center piece. I'm using a number 5 reverse tooth blade in this. You can use anything you want. The wood I'm using is poplar. I cut it to 1/4 inch thick. You could use thicker if you want, thinner even for that matter. You can do other things with this too. I'm just leaving it basically square. You can round over the edges, make it more intricate. You can use a fancier wood too. It might be really nice if you used a cherry wood, or possibly something with color to it like Padauk, or maybe the Purple Heart as a possibility too. Alright, so I'll put our blade in here and let's get cutting. Try not to get my hand in the way. Always a constant problem. Okay, came out pretty good. As I said, this is going to be used as the base for the candle, so we'll put it aside for now. And let's get cutting our next frame. Okay, got our last two cut, and what could be simpler? 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces to this whole project, and took only a few minutes to cut out. Used a piece of scrap wood, and we're going to come up with a nice little device here. So what we're going to do now is take the paper off, take all the patterns off. With the exception of this one, I want to bring that over to the drill press and drill my center hole first. Let's do that now. Okay, I'm over here at the drill press right now, and I've got a 1.5 inch. I misspoke before when I said it was 1 3/4. It's 1.5 inch Forstner bit in here, and I've got my little blank underneath, centered in the middle of the drill bit, and bring it down just to test it out here, make sure that it's on center. It's a little bit off, bring it over a bit more. Okay, now we're right on center. You don't have to go all the way down through this. I would go down maybe about 1/8 of an inch, and you can measure it off if you want. I'm just going to sort of eyeball it here. Try to keep my hand out of the way. Okay, just enough of an indent there so you can put your candle in it and it won't fall out if you happen to be hanging it up and it swinging in the wind or something like that. That works pretty good. Alright, so let's take this over to the table and clean all these patterns off here. I'm over at the bench sander now, and I'm going to take these frames and the base. What I'm going to do is turn the bench sander on and smooth out the edges on these. Instead of using a router, I'm just going to do it on the sander by eyeballing it. As the sander runs, I'm going to tip it down, and it's going to curve that, round that edge over. Do the same all the way around all the pieces, including the base. Okay, while we're over here at the bench sander, what I'd like to do also is round over the corners. And what I'm going to do is turn the sanding disc on and just eyeballing it, go right around each corner to round them over a little bit, to make it a little bit dressy. Hopefully, again, my arms won't get in the way. See the rounded edges. And we're going to do one more sanding process, and that's with the buffing wheel. actually the sanding mop, to go around all these edges and take those little fuzzies off that are sticking out here. Okay, let's go do that now. Okay, here we are at the sanding mop. Get a lot of use out of this. It's part of the sand fleece setup. And we're going to just go around the edges here, smooth out all the edges, take all those fuzzies off, and maybe on the insides too. Here we go. Okay, let's bring this over to the bench now and fix it up. Alright, we're going to start assembly of our little candle cage here now. And I have a little dish where I put some glue in. Got a little toothpick for using it. And we're going to start with the big piece. Doesn't really matter which side you put it on. We're not going to measure or anything. Again, going to just use the old eyeball to see how it fits. And we want to put it at a slight angle when we put it in there. We're going to put it in something like that, because the other one is going to go the other direction when we put it in the middle of that. So we can just sort of figure out where we want it roughly. And we'll take a drop of the glue, put it down in there, about the midsection, and another drop in here, about the midsection. And then we take it and put it where we think we want it. I'm going to put it right about there, okay? And then after you've got it pretty well seated where you think you want it, take a clamp. These spring clamps will do the job. And put that on there, okay? Flip it over, take another clamp, and put it on this side. Now once that glue dries, that's going to hold it in place pretty good. It's best to just let this dry first, and then come back and do the next piece, and then finally do the little table for the candle itself. So we're going to let this dry for a few minutes. We'll come back and we'll put the other piece on. Don't go anywhere. Okay, we're back here now. Oh, I'm glad to see you stuck around. I made good use of the time, went out and did some vacuuming in the shop here. And it's been a little while, so let's see if this thing is going to pan out. Okay, take the clamps off, and I don't hear anything popping, so I guess we're all set with that. Now the next piece we want to put in is the smaller one. What we'll do is we'll just sort of eyeball this again around the center. Here we're going to need some glue. Put some glue in there. A little dab there. A little dab here. A little dab will do ya. The older people will remember that expression. And we take our other square and put it across like that. You might want to just hold your finger on that to keep it straight while you put your clamp on it. Get it in exactly where you want it. Looks pretty good there. And in the back, we'll do the same thing. Clamp will force it into position, and it should dry pretty good. Take some paper towel here and wipe up some of this glue. Don't have it sticking out. Alright, now we'll go away again and come back later on and see how this glues, and we'll put our final piece in then, is the little table. Can't put it in there right now because the clamps are in the way. But we'll be back shortly. Don't go away. Welcome back again. I'm glad to see you stuck around. Alright, I think we can take these off of here now. Comes off of there, that comes off of there. And we take our little dish now, and you can put it down in the center. It doesn't really matter which side you put it on, the top or the bottom. Either way, it's going to fit in very nicely. So we're going to take this dish out for the moment, and we'll put a little bit of glue in there. Find my toothpick. Seem to have lost it. There it is. Okay. Take some glue and put it all along this bottom rung. Don't need a lot of glue. It's not going to be that heavy a duty job here. Yeah. Okay, then we take our little table, put it inside like that. Take our clamp again and put it on there. Okay, you can put 2 clamps on if you want in this case. Just make sure it's nice and flat there. There we go. Okay, wipe up some of this glue we splattered around. And basically we've got it all together. When we come back, we'll just put a candle on it and show you the final result. And we should be all set to go. Alright, here for the final time. I think we've pretty well dried this off now. Take that off of there. Take this off. And we have our little candle cage nicely done. Take your candle, slide it in there. Remember, don't use a real candle. I wouldn't trust it because it is wood, and you'd have a real catastrophe if you kind of just stand that up like that for now. But you can hang it from a little piece of wire, or possibly you might want to make a little stand for it underneath, or just lay it flat on the table. It ought to work out pretty good. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, click the little thumbs up button down below there. And you might want to subscribe also if you haven't done so already. And come back and visit me again. I'm sure to have some other items along the way. Thank you for watching.